Hey, we're on. Hello, YouTube, family, friends, followers, trolls, shills, agents, world, all of you. Hello, welcome, peace and love. The 14th of September, 4:30. Um, I've got quite a big update for you. There's two videos that you probably haven't seen. Since I come back from holidays, we've had a seminar. I don't know which ones of you made it now. I can't remember everybody that was there, but 2nd of September we was in Birmingham, and we had a second seminar. That was very successful. We had some hosts there, some guests, which was in the form of Trust and Equity teacher, and also a paralegal was there. So we had Richard Ansar turn up, his study partner. There was somebody there from Sky Media, Alex. So on the whole, yeah, very productive, very enlightening day. We did do some video of which I'll upload later to the channel. I've got them, I've got them stashed somewhere. We went live on Facebook, and I appreciate not all of you want to get on that domain or aren't on that domain for your own, personal political reasons. We are building at the moment another site, a private site. We're building the domain. We haven't got a name yet, but it is being constructed at the moment. There's a new website, a private area that's going to be used for the teaching and findings of the Trust and Equity. So we understand, we see, we comprehend that it's a massive effort for somebody to grasp what the private side is, how to get on the private side, how to invoke equity, how to enforce a trust, how to understand what a trust is, a private one, not a statute trust, not a public trust, not a government trust, but a private trust. We'll call it a constructive private trust. Once you've got that and you've established it, you've expressed it, you've put a res in, you've done your declaration. Once you've done that, you need to then know how to enforce it. You need to know how it's done properly. So it's a long, massive job. So we're going to start at A, we'll finish at Z. It's going to take a lot of hours of study, research, buying books, interaction with others. So we're going to get off the Facebook in the public as it is, and webinars and access to the group site page, that we'll build. We'll let you know when it's ready. We'll post links for it. So why are we doing this? Yeah, trust and equity. We've looked at all of the legal arguments and the legal, evidence of life forms in the HJR 192 in America. We've seen a lot of what the Americans are doing in regards of Ken Dost, that's on the Facebook community, Bill Turner, some of Santos Bonacci, some of what Steve McRae's been offering, some of what Winston Shrout's been saying, some Carl Lentz. Do you know what I mean? We've got a lot of overseas information, but the crux of the matter is you need to translate that to the English version, to the United Kingdom version, and administer it as such, in such a way where you would then end up in the private with no liability to your public persons, your legal persons. Or not. Some people are saying to dissolve the trusts and to get rid of the, return the birth certificate. We've heard so many different ways, legal ways, lawful ways. Article 61, and statutory declaration, notice of intent. I did that to Theresa May and claimed that new knowledge had come to hand, and I were now going to manage my legal person as the administrator. I now look at it as I am the sole shareholder of that birth certificate, and I am also the administrator of it. If anybody's going to argue differently, then I put it to them to show me evidence of that. It's constantly evolving. It's massive. It is massive. We get told so many ideas. Don't forget, we've been in this game publicly for 2 years. We made Sovereign Paralegals, which was then Sovereign Solicitors, November 15. So yeah, a lot of alleged remedies, cures, fixes have been offered to us and come along, but it's a good job we didn't act on all of those remedies and or alleged remedies or hypotheses on how to get out of here. So yes, Andy Sov, easy bro. Flat Earth Adam, hello. It's a random update. I haven't spoken to YouTube for some time. I don't neglect you. I use this platform for primarily what it is, for putting videos up and putting information out there. and then I come back and I look at the comments and interact if I've got time. But I love and respect and thank you all for your following, your shares, your subscriptions and things, turning up to the meetings, coming to the Facebook group. But like I say, new private domain, exclusively, specifically tailored and built for members to come along and to have a look and to embark on the learning courses, the webinars, and the things that we've got planned for you there. This is international as well, so anybody, John Taylor, respect, hello, doing us proud, fella. International, let's say Commonwealth, Australia, Canada, America, USA, Inc., Incorporated. Anybody with a birth certificate, you will be able to use the links that we put up through the YouTube channels. You will find a direct link to the new website that we're building, the web portal. This will be your primary access and learning curve. You will be using that to get access from abroad, from foreign waters. So it's open to all. It will be easy for some. It will be completely, really complex for other people to grasp. But one thing that we found out at the last seminar we did is that there is a demand for it. There is a knowledge for it, and some people understand a little bit of what trusts are. Some people, quite well advanced in there, and they understand the complexity, the relationships, the dynamics, how it can stand lawfully, what it does about ring fencing property, and to recognise that you are in a trust. Like I've said previously on the videos that you've missed in the Facebook group, we've said conditional acceptance, and we've gone along the lines of we conditionally accept this contract, and we want proof of, and then we've laid out what we've wanted. But instead of saying it's a contract, we recognise that it's possibly a trust that's been set up when there is an agreement involved. An agreement is because a corporation can't contract with a man, yes, remember, but a corporation can make an agreement, and you can a constructed agreement. And when you look at what constructed an agreement are and where they come from, and the words that are only used in certain laws and parameters to describe certain things that we don't know about, that now we've learnt about, an agreement and a constructed agreement, if I'm remembering it rightly, are used in trust and equity, and it denotes that a certain type of relationship is at hand and present. So this is the massive learning curve that we've got. The language in itself, the language of legalese and why we don't use it and why we don't, fall under it. But we recognise who speaks it, we recognise why they speak it, and it's deceptive, it's tricky, it's slippy, it creates joinder, and it's non-direct. So we can use that to and fro. We would never use legalese. We understand it, interpret it, and we will work a way around it in which to reply to that, not using legalese, not contracting, not using a legal name, but considering that the birth certificate is your title deed to the stocks and shares. So the man is born, the womb man is born, and it's free as a freeborn for an amount of time until you get to the General Register's office. At the General Register's office, we would argue that your share of the Commonwealth is put into a trust by your parents. So in a nutshell, for the new viewers, for the experienced ones, you can obviously work it out for yourselves and elaborate upon this and see the potential and the future that it could hold, arguing this angle as opposed to the many and various ones we've argued before. Being a shareholder to the birth certificate, being the administrator for that, and expressing that in a trust relationship, and understanding how to do that, what the dynamics are, and then once you do that in the private through these notices that we've used before. Notice to agent is notice to principal. We've used that quite a lot on some of the conditional acceptance letters that we've used. Well, that's trust and equity there in itself. I'm trying to think what lies at the heart of equity. The doctrine of notices. So we get noticed. When people notice us, they are not forced to tell us what our rights are. They are not forced to tell us what's going on, what's happening, what we need to do. But they notice us and they make us aware. They deem us to be noticed and aware. How you deal with that is up to you. Again, this is not legal advice. Andy, so if we are the power of Adam, everybody needs to know that, Andy, then we can make this a better place. Agreed. Stop, you distract me with your comments, but thank you. The shareholder, beneficiary, yeah, we were saying trustee, yeah, we were saying that, and we were saying that in the shareholder relationship with the birth certificate, then perhaps that we are now the trustee in that trust relationship and not actually the shareholder, which would be classed as, I suppose, the beneficiary. So these arguments we've had before about taking a birth certificate to court, dissolving the birth certificate, not accepting the liability of the name, all these things that other people, John Harris has talked about in the past, the gurus and speakers that we've all seen and heard that I've mentioned previously. Yeah, it splits your head open, doesn't it? But this is why we do what we do. This is why we link up and we share, and we don't just rush into stuff. We research, we source, we reference, we buy law books, we find people on similar, vibrations, and we ask and we compare. So exciting times. It's really great time to be involved in this. It's one of the best times I can see of the last 20 years because there's so much information, there's so much evolution. We've had the stuff with Heather with the TDA accounts pop up. We know that there are bank accounts using the national insurance number that is issued by the International Monetary Fund. There's just a lot happening at the moment. There's a lot of people that are aware and are knowledgeable in this. There are a lot of people that are picking it up and running with it and doing things before they can walk, so to speak, which is where we're coming in with the proposal for the future, basically, and how to do this, because after 2 years publicly doing this on Facebook and a 7-year journey myself, I found a lot of disinformation. I found a lot of agents that that are out there, a lot of shills, a lot of people that are just plain evil and pompous, up their own posterior. I call them glass bellies. They must have a glass belly to see where they're going because their head is that far up there. It's people make mistakes, people are naive, people are vulnerable, people have got different intelligences, and we need to recognise this and work in a way that's structured, available for all, practical for all, understandable, comprehensible for all. And it's when you've got such a complex mission at hand, and it takes everybody's effort to do that. This website is being built. There will be a reduction in the courses available to get on here. Initially, there will be a webinar for anybody that wants to ask questions and has got anything that's on their mind. They can ask that with the man himself, Richard. There will be 1 week's free access to a basic course to give you an insight into the direction, the money mechanics, and I don't want to say too much about that because I forgot what Richard said. The topics of the course for your free trial will consist of. But the webinar is always a good thing to speak to. Get the information from the from the organ grinder. Not from the monkey, which would be me in this situation. So yeah, it's there's a lot of structure and direction. There's people taking time, using a lot of their energy and effort, and they're doing it in a positive, good way. And we've realised that the legal at law side uses public, and the public legal at law uses public money. If you go private and you don't go at law and you invoke equity and you use trust law, go private, you can use private money. So therefore, there's the two main arguments for that we now comprehend and we've seen evidence of. There are people using A for V and promissory notes, and the promissory note would reside in the private sector. So you couldn't go to a common law court and start arguing that you wanted to pay your council tax in a public court under common law at law level with a promissory note. Now, I think I've got that right because that would involve a private, funds and transfer and stuff and endorsement via the signature. So that would be shushed, and you wouldn't be able to do that. So we need to recognise when to use certain remedies and what capacity, what authority and jurisdiction you need to be in to be able to use that. Because if you use an equitable remedy at an at-law level or vice versa, then it will not be heard. It won't be valid. It won't. It's like contradiction, isn't it? So we appreciate that we haven't been to uni and we're not qualified to do this, and we're researching it off our own back with our own people, if you like, and we are using the books, their books, the court practice procedure rules and things like that. We are hearing when people have gone to court what the judges is saying to them, and how they test you to the limit. And even though you bang on the money and you can express the trust and you're acting in the correct manner, and the judge will sit there and he will still test you, because this is not something that is for public knowledge. It's not something that the minions and our dominion, the working class, should be using, but we have a right to use it. We have a claim of right. We have a birthright. So this is what's submitted, your inheritance at the point of registration to the GRO. So this is where we can now say you are free to choose whatever choice and option you are see fit and you believe with your gut instinct is right, and we will always be here to assist, help, advocate, and give you any information, guidelines, references of law, where to go, publications, and our independent, honest advice, which you can take or leave. What are you saying here? High vibes, bro. Yeah, good to see you, Indigo Child. Your work and energies are a great light. So for many people, appreciate your hard work. As King, yes, govern this. You see, we have got a legal person. As we're saying, at birth you're born and you're only free for so long as a freeborn, aren't you? Then you go to the General Registry Office and you get an all caps person and you get a lowercase name, and you are the man, the body, the flesh, the woman, the spirit, the Holy Trinity, the mind, body and soul. But your mind, body and soul and your entitlement from the state under said statutes, acts and bills and claim of rights and things like this are submitted by your parents to them, and that then is held in the states under the Sestu KV in trust, as I see it, in my opinion. And because your parents have submitted that, we now at some point have become the subjects of Her Majesty, which are acting as straw men. We've all been acting as straw men. Now, when you wake up from that dream and you think, right, what do I do? Just by waking up and acting differently, you're doing something, and you are acting what you should be, like the man. You need to claim that back. So we've looked at how we claim that back, and there's been many in various ways. It's via notice, and it's via equity, and it involves trust law then, because a trust relationship has been set up. Trust agreements and trust is evident everywhere in every kind of situation. So these are why the courses will come in handy for that. We will now say that we would look at being the only shareholder and the administrator for this deed, title, document, birth certificate, whatever you want to call it. So you call it a secured party creditor, yes? The secured party creditor. Long way off for people that don't know these words. Don't get into this if you're just doing it because your friends are. Got to say, check out the rest later. Stay safe. Yeah. Watch it back if you just joined in. Hello, welcome, thank you. Rewind it. It's an update with regards to our current direction, where we're at. The website that's being built is not like the other one that was a backup that I built in case Facebook shut down, Sovereign Paralegals. It's just too much going on. You've told you in my videos you appreciate that there's a finite amount of time on this planet for each of us. I'm at work 6 a.m. till 2 p.m. I come back at 2:30, pick up our kid, get some food ready, then it's tea time. You're falling asleep by 8 p.m. So yeah, there's a lot caps lock on, it's alright. There's a lot going off. I can't reply, and the comments of at least 500 comments I need to get back to you on, which is just, where do you start? So you need to make the effort with us, join the group, join the websites, look at the links that we've put on the websites and the domains, use the email, localized meetings, localized information to be given out. And I don't know how we're going to do that, but starting where the reason why we said that the September the 2nd was one of the last meetings until about Christmas is because we need to focus on the online aspect, on constructing these courses, on learning the equity, learning the trust law, going through. I'm on Richard's courses personally, and I'm loving it. The information, the nuggets that just fall out are many, and yes, it's a pleasure to actually find somewhere which is bona fide, and someone that's done some groundwork, that's gone through a lot of effort to compare and contrast the USA, what would you call it then, remedy into an English remedy, look at all the current remedies that are on the table, then obviously work with someone that's legally trained up until the point of a certain point, and then go out and test these out, exercise certain things, and then obviously come back and start teaching it to us. So We have got a little bit of a boost there because we can use something which is already established, somebody that's already put some time, effort, research into it, and has got remedies of sorts already established and under the belt. So going into the private, yes, you don't want to accept the liabilities of your public persons anymore. And the reason why they're given to you by default, the police and the authorities and the government and the courts and the HMRC and the DVLA and certain, regulatory, managing, governing third party bodies such as these corporations are able to act in the capacity that they do, again, I believe is because if you haven't corrected your status, then these statute codes that are mandated upon your person, default mandated upon the statutes and codes, yeah, that's how they are applied. Now you're acting as a straw man and you don't know anything better. So whereas they are actually out there for the good of the people are all corporations, citizens, employees and things like that. So when you don't act it and you don't know, then you need a lawyer to help you out, and you get the lawyer, and then that's the big how it all starts and ends up with them making money, accessing your CQV trust as mercantile agents under trust and equity in the public, getting paid out once, getting paid out again, and then you go and get served fines, forfeits and things like that by the judge who salvaged you because you was viewed as a child in the eyes of the court and you didn't stand up, act in the way as an adult as you'd reached the age of, I said it the other day, it's not the age, is it the age of maturity? It might be that. So you're viewed as an adult if you go to court. We don't advocate going to court. I wouldn't go to court unless common law had been broken, then you need to answer for that. You sort everything out in the private, as we've said before. The conditional acceptance, notice to agent is notice to principal. Withholding money on purpose can be a crime. Especially when it comes to council tax and also PCNs. It can be a criminal offence, but there you go, a criminal offence. An offence is an offence. Criminal is where somebody has suffered harm, injury and loss. So I'd still like to argue bits of this, with morally and ethically, but we'll just class it as, they don't give up. And you would argue that it's an equitable matter, and you look at it in the eyes of equity, notice to agent, notice to principal, conditional acceptance offer, and the whole new ball game gets flipped open, and you would write in the notices and you would write in private, as we have done before, using common law, conditional acceptance and the three-letter process. That has worked, that can work, that's lengthy, you can use the processes there, you totally, your free choice to do so. What we're saying is there can be a quicker, faster, more effective way that's more direct, keeping clean hands, that's honourable, that's using the highest power, the highest laws of the courts. Courts of Chancery, getting judges to go into the private chambers and certain things like this at the end of the line. We would endeavour to notice the CEO and appoint the correct trustees. The reason why the world's running amok at the minute and why we're just going, what, can't believe it, is because we haven't corrected any of the relationships that are misconstrued at the minute and are done with unconscionable intent, unconscionable actions. So it's nothing. These different types of trusts, I mentioned that there are general trusts and there are constructed trusts. Now these aren't nice, and if I've learned it properly, and there's not just one type of trust, there's loads and there's lots of relationships. So the general and constructive trusts are what they set up and put us in by default, where we are the trustee. And because we haven't recognised these relationships or even got and tackled it at the correct area of law, we will never win against these people, against the establishment and against the system. When you start looking at the way that it's set up and how to understand it and to use it, then you'd use it privately with these notices. That's what we've got the power to do. If these people, once we've corrected the relationship, recognised it's wrong, corrected it, and then noticed them, if they fail to act, then there are certain things we can do to then enforce the trust, which is where the course again comes in. It's not just the point of, oh, here's my trust, it's done. They will push you to the limit. You will need to stand possibly at the point of into the judge. They will push you all that way. You will then be put into a public court. I would imagine some eyes by default 90% think that, and then you would have to then use your knowledge, get your books out, go in, slam them down, get ready to do battle in a public court and get it moved, a court of common law convened into a court of a private court. into a private, convene a court of common law into a private court using equity and trust. Get him to bang his gavel down and obviously say, this is when you started mentioning about tendering payment or equitable interests or notice of equitable interests or the way that you talked. Here's another one for you that just popped in my head. Thank you, Richard Ansar and Kevin. It was, do you, my honour, do you, sir, my honour, you could call him, your honour, have permission from the Chancellor in order to deal with equitable matters? Boom. I don't believe he does. And if they do, then I think they're lying. They're not trained, they're not authorised to deal with equitable. They're not a high court. We know about the bonds and we know about the insolvency and we know about all legal entities. Corporations are trading in bankruptcy and blah, blah, blah. So you'd want to go to the High Court. You'd say certain things. Again, it's not legal advice and I'm still learning. But I'm seeing the power that we've had and we've had it ignored. We've had it it takes too long. You're sending letters at £3 recorded mail or whatever it is and it's costing you 12, 15, 18, £25 in letters. It's taking 9 months. So we've done it firsthand and we've experienced some wins and some triumphs, legally at law level. There's times when you need to use that and there's times when you need to know when it's an equitable level, when it's going to involve trust law and it's a misconstrued relationship. And then we use that instead by the same avenues, but invoking and demanding and wishing and requiring and official capacity as a trustee, fiduciaries, things like that, you see. So it is simple. The common law system is simple. We will keep using that and we do use that and it is still there and we're not getting rid of it and it hasn't gone anywhere. Who's this? Free OK. Yes, that's happening to me. I'm so unwell. I tried this. Not worked. Does one need to be working, not claim state system? As I'm trying to find a way around this in not to be trustee. No, it doesn't matter if you're working, you're a beneficiary. So as your claim of right, now new knowledge has come to hand and you found out that the birth certificate is not you and you've read the warning at the bottom that says there's not proof of evidence. So therefore, the body in the flesh is the body in the flesh. You always are a womb man, but you are accepting the legal responsibility of your all caps name or your lowercase private name, you see. So the all caps name is primarily invested and used for commerce, for driving license, for national insurance number, for your NHS number, for bank cards. When a contract is formed. I'm not showing you all my cards and stuff, but I'm just checking now. Yeah, they are in capital. So my bank card, my driving license, my national insurance number, your gravestone. Yeah, so that's your dead all caps commercial entity that you are the securitized assets for. Yes, and then you've got your lowercase name. So you'd use that. You can sign without liability. You can use UCC. I haven't used all of this and practiced it, but you would always argue that you are out of work. Yes, okay. Now what do you need to do to get money because you're out of work? You need to claim the benefits that you're entitled to, but you are not claiming the man because the man and the body and flesh are not recognised in the legal system, which is why you've got legal persons. So you would use that form, you'd ring up, hello, I need to claim benefits. Oh, we don't do it over the phone. Go to the internet, fill it all out, get to the appointment in the job centre, local job centre. At that point, you would then declare that you are not the mister and that you are using instrumentation and you are, depends on what work you've done, and if you've set a trust up and you're not putting your birth certificate in a trust, you are simply claiming, and I'm not sure how you do this because I'm yet again learning, but perhaps you would put, you could put intangible things in a trust as well. They don't have to be tangible, so you could put things like a signature in a trust. You could put an idea in a trust. You can put land in a trust. It's tangible, intangible, you see. So we'll come back to that. But what I'm thinking is, the body in the flesh wants to claim benefits. You're entitled to claim benefits. So you'd sign without liability and you'd express on that document that you're filling in for the state that you have a legal person and you've used that because that's the only way. And you'd sign at the bottom using UCC codes or V compulsor, not V coactus. Look at V VC. We're going to have said VI then. What's VI? V compulsor, I believe it is, not V coactor, signing under duress. You've got the three dots. You can use your thumbprints, which they wouldn't recognise. So just know when you're using your legal person, and perhaps look at signing without liability or with codes, or expressing it as a separate piece of paper, you know, and looking at it like that. I can't tell you what to do because I'm not in that position for one, and I haven't done it, but I can work around what we have to play with. And you could, like, people serve the Attorney General. If you're going to go in, I haven't done this either, but it's a really good idea and it makes sense. You write a statutory declaration out, and you serve it to the Attorney General. The Attorney General sends it out to all the courts in the land. If ever you then have an issue and you need to go to the court to sort it out via a special appearance, not by representation and not by claiming the name, but by something else, then because you've served the Attorney General and they know that you are going to claim a certain status and title, your title, yeah, you claimed your title, yeah, so then you'd go under that title, maybe in the private, maybe in the public, whichever. You probably go in the private via special appearances, and then the Attorney General knows, yeah, that you're going to come and you're not going to be the Mr. and you're not going to try and present the birth certificate. You're going to use the lowercase name, and you're just going to say that it's David Jason of the family Jeremita, and you disappear, and you see, so they know, and they know the game, and you've let them know you know the game. There are certain things you could do. So when you claim benefits, before you claim benefits, you need to think about how you're going to contract them, because it is a contract. You need to know the only way you're going to contract is with the surname, the date of birth, and the NI. So the NI comes from the International Monetary Fund. The surname is a legal name, and the date of birth is a formatting principle of which is attributed to the registration document to uniquely and specifically identify you, I do believe, which I'm learning in trusts and things. So it's massive, it really is. There's your update. There's 2 more videos that are going to get posted that I'll download, that I went live in Facebook, and I had to update them because there's 2,400 members. It's growing rapidly. There's a massive amount of action, and like 100 open posts going off, you know, interactive 100 open posts. So they do take my priority. You guys come close second. I'm sorry, but I can't, you know, I've got to manage it all. This is just an update to let you know there's more coming. I'll give you the videos. And what we got here, hello David, Shadow Dynamics, yes, hello everybody. Yes, done VC. Yeah, you see, I tried UCC 308. There you go then. So you know about signing without liability. There's also the 3 dots, leaving an open contract. Is there any info in the group, brother? Wow, yeah, there's like what's on the videos here, but then you can use we have a search box in Sovereign Paralegals, which has now been called on Facebook Express Private Games of Babylon Trust established, whatever. So you can't find on Facebook the Sovereign Paralegals per se, because I've renamed it as a trust title, and the trust title is, you know what trusts are now, so you know what a trust title is, and you have a res, you have a declaration, you have a trustee, a beneficiary, and a settlor, don't you? So we've created a little bit of a trust idea here to primarily show you what a trust title looks like. So you go out onto Facebook and you get into the Express Private Games of Babylon. There's links on the website at www.sovereignparalegals.uk. Radio buttons, they should still work. Reminds me to check them since I've renamed the family with the trust name. You go in that search box in there and you put in things like declaration, notice, PCN, judge, black robe, you know, UPU, UCC, anything that you're interested in at the time, or you're having problems with, council tax, officer, constable, consent, everything. We've covered so many posts. It's amazing. I've done I think it were 25,000 posts in a year that have been liked, so that's just me. And that will all be, 20,000 will be in that group. So we've been open 2 years. We've covered a massive amount, and 2 years in November. Covered a massive amount of materials, text, posts, comments, replies, documents, notices. There's 250 PDFs in there. I've got all the backed up ones of them. So yeah, get in there, use the search box, the internal search box, and when you search it says Facebook or group, you just press group. There's a wealth of information. It's like, you know, we've armed you up to the back teeth with it all. Did know you did live video. Ah, well, Chris Macaulay, Yeah, the funny thing is, what I was doing is making a video privately on my own, recording it onto the phone, and then spending an hour or two uploading it afterwards. And then I realised there's a little thing there where you can go live, and it uploads it, records it all in one, like, saves on time, saves on memory. So yeah, thanks for your interaction. All those of you that joined in halfway through, you need to rewind. I'll put on the other two videos that I gave an update for in Sovereign Paralegals. And there's lots happening, yeah. So it's going to take you about 5,000 hours, which works out at like 7.5 hours a day, 666 days, 666 recurring. That was just a random figure of 5,000. It wasn't random, but I've roughly spent 5,000 hours, 2 years. 660 something days, 365 days a year, 600, 120, 130, 730 days for somebody from zero to hero, A to B. And that's no joke. 2 years minimum from scratch, books, references, courses, online seminars, getting on, coming to a meeting every 3 months and doing mock, scenarios and bringing your trust, letting us have a look at it. Everything like that. So it will take a massive amount of time, and if you go to university and college, should I say university, get a master's, a graduate, a doctorate, or whatever, the highest honour you can get in the law, then what will they teach you? They'll teach you the statute, the legal, they'll teach you the indoctrinated version of it, which is why we won't go to law. But we are thinking about becoming, or a few of us need to become actual paralegals, so we can govern ourselves. We can go and, we can, if we're paralegals then, and we get all the way up to the point of registration with the bar, just imagine the things we can actually do with you guys needing help in a court. Is there an easy guide to it all? Chris McCauley, yes. There is an easy guide to it. Yeah, you're born and you're a body, you're a man, and then you get registered and you get two legal people. One's an all caps, one's a lowercase private. You are not them, but you have been acting like them all your life. You've now woken up. So when you was born, the parents took you to the registry office and they filled in all the stuff and they consented and they contracted and they gave away your claim of right to the GRO, and then they manage all that inheritance, trust, estate, the TDA, all that kind of stuff on your behalf in trust until you reach the age of maturity, recognise the misconstrued relationships and stand there and speak it and know it here. This is the pitfall. They will test you to the point and you'll be on your own, and you can have counsel and things like that, but we're not going to be there all the time. You need to understand how serious it is, and don't get into it and mess with it if you don't. But the alternatives are to keep acting as your straw man and accepting the public liability, and that's just futile. You have no rights, you have privileges and benefits, instead of entitlements and rights. You have a voice. Shouldn't need to go and register, get on the electoral roll and go and poll for your opinion to be considered. You should stand there as a man in the public, but keeping a private capacity in the public, and how your voice should be heard. When you're dealing with your legal public, then you have nothing. You have that side of it. So the simple nutshell is, there is a legal public side and there is a private non-public side, which is the two avenues you use. So if you want to go to an hospital and get treatment, you'd mention your date of birth, your surname and things like that, and contracts, and give it. If someone rings you up or gives you a form and says you need to sign this, and it's going to have a financial penalty, or you're going to be liable to go out and do something and give your sweat equity, your hard-earned money to this corporation, and if you don't, then you will be legally responsible for them. Then that's that. It's down to your interpretation. Get in the group, watch the videos we've done, listen to the names that we mention, and get on board. Get on these trust and equity courses. The first bit you get on will be free. It will be the introduction into the world of. It won't be everything you need to know about trust and equity. Look at the doctrine of notices. Yes, look at equity itself. Look at a notice of interest, a statement of interest. Know when you're in a constructed agreement, and a constructed agreement involves trust and equity. When you're in a contract, only a man and a man can make a contract. You can say that you use a telephone and get a new phone on the telephone, ring up for a new telephone contract. You do that verbally on the phone, but the paperwork is then sent out or emailed or whatever. But your voice we'll get you into an agreement. It's not really a contract, because a contract needs 2 signatures, and it can only be done man to man, flesh to flesh, woman to woman. A corporation can't form a contract with a man. Momentary pause, but yeah, 100%. Only a man and a man can, so it's an agreement. Agreement is a trust is such and such, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, wow. Exciting times. This is not legal advice, this is a study area, and this is just for you to go away and have a think about, make down some notes, go and research it, look at the people that we've mentioned that talk, and the people that we're affiliated with through the group, the admins and members in there that have got the advanced knowledge will answer any questions. The new domain's currently being built. We haven't got a name for it yet, but we've got the notion, the idea, and people are working hard behind the scenes to make that happen. We're buying law books at hundreds of pounds, which is ridiculous, which we know you all can't do. So we will translate that through the avenues coming forward for the people, you know, and the people that can afford it, get on it and do it. Yes, I'm buzzing. There is a lot of energy. America, Australia, Canada, India, Africa, the Philippines, South America, Europe, you know, the Greece, Italy, everywhere. These birth certificates that people have mean that you're in a trust. Look at what the Vatican have said. Look at Pope Francis's, decrees and what they've done. Unum Sanctum, Pope Boniface. Look through the ages of what these churches and the Vatican have done, and look at the declarations that they've done. I've just posted motu proprio and some links in the group there. Search that in the Facebook group. You'll get all the evidence you need from that. It's not just ifs and buts anymore. It's a matter of time. It's a correlation of a lot of people's efforts. It's not just mine. It's not just one man's. It's not, you know. It's the process of the work, of the contribution of the work that's been handed out by the pioneers or the gurus of which we know about, we follow, and they've then led us down this path. And the lack of remedies, the lack of, people have gone away and come back and found me and our group and my videos and said, there's nothing changed. I've been gone 8, 5, 10 years. I was a free man. I gave up. I just wanted to submit and bow, because they started going to court, losing stuff, getting stuff repossessed, clamped, basically stolen, becoming liable for it, and they didn't win anything. Or they did, but it took a very long time, and then they had to reclaim back. So we're all for A for V. We're all for promissory notes. We know now what capacity to take at an at-law level, public, at a private level, law and equity, involving the chambers, chancery, things like that. Massive developments. It's been a hectic 2 years. I've had a lot of seepage. It's been very hard. You guys have made it brilliant. You're sharing, you're caring. We don't really care for the shills and the trolls and everybody else. They just like humour us, and each to their own. You've got a freedom of speech. We accept that. To some people, I am crazy. To other people, the words go in and they don't turn to orange wax. Electricity happens here and light bulbs turn on. And pennies drop, things get brought into play, and then they come and find us, and that's how it is. So each to their own. I hope that answers your question, Chris McCauley. I do feel it, that's why I'm now into it. The system needs a kick in the ass. Watch some of Bill Turner, yeah, but he's New Zealand, isn't he? You see, how do you deregister your car? Well, a trust, DVLA, that's another relationship. A trust has been formed. So you look at the bill of sale, you've got the bill of sale, that proves that you are the owner of that private property. You see on the V5 that it says this document does not prove ownership. Yeah, does it say that? This document is not proof of ownership. And if it's not proof of ownership, what is it? It's a legal title. Someone's got legal title of responsibility for PCNs, fines, tax, MOT, insurance, blah, blah, blah. That's us. Now someone else has got a different title to it that we've handed over with a signature, endorsed that contract with a signature for the straw man. The body and flesh has done that, acting as the straw man. So you're right, you do need to deregister, but I wouldn't call it deregistering. I'd call it yes, you can put a V5 registration document in a trust, or perhaps put a car in a trust as a res and make it specific in a way, so then therefore you was only the beneficiary of that and not the legal owner. Before you ask, I know what you're thinking. That's another reason to get on the course. Massive potential, bank accounts, signatures, vehicles, businesses, tangible, intangible, it all goes in that private trust. So I need to go. It's 5:20. I've got videos to watch, books to read, I've got rid of our kid for a bit. She's gone to a birthday party. Our lass is at work. Freedom and peace. Peace and love. I hope I've spoke slowly and concisely. You comprehend what's going off. You are free to choose your own path, to follow anybody you want. This is not, like I say, legal advice. We're not telling you what to do. We are simply recognising the controlling legal system of which is out there, and we know how to dance with it, how to play with it, how to avoid it at all costs. It's a shame that the people that manage it, govern it, police it, oversee it, regulate it, finance it, that are involved in it, the government from the top down, they don't know. Some of them do, but if they knew, then they'd be committing gross crimes against us if they was all privy to that, which is why they're not privy to that, because then the people at the banks and the HMRC and the telephone, keep saying telephone, but all the companies would be committing mass fraud upon more so than what they're doing with regards to the personage, barratry, double dipping, utility bills all being paid for, the A for V that we should be doing there and returning the bank gyro credit slip, is it? And endorsing that with your details, and not paying it and using the private side to do that. So with your cars, with your bills, with your accounts, it's massive. It really is. But it's not something I can tell you what to do. You need to learn it, and I need to learn it. We need to start teaching this to the youth, and we need to start going forward before we sign, before we contract, before we set up a misconstrued agreement. Then these words are put there to give us clues. Another thing is that they declare that they put out a new statute and they put it in the public. They put up public notices, so therefore you could say that none of this is. It is evil and it is twisted and it is non-disclosed and we don't have full disclosure and it is trickery and deceit and nasty, but there is a remedy out there and we finally found it, and it involves what I've said. And we can argue that they've told us what they're doing. They put it in the films, they put it in the papers, they put it on lampposts, they put it in the public, and certain acts we should see and go, what? And we should all just get up and, not get up and protest, because that causes violence and they arrest us and spray us and make money. We need to find a more constructive way of our voices being heard as well that doesn't lead to public protests. So yeah, thanks guys, brilliant. Time is of finite amount and I need to go and do stuff. Thank you all very much. Peace, love and light. We'll speak soon. Check the channel. I'm going to upload some more videos that you didn't see on my Facebook family, and get an update via that. Thank you very much. Respect, peace and love. Always do it from the heart. What you act is what you are. If you don't act it, you can't be it. If you stop acting like a straw man and assert yourself and get that confidence and lose the fear, then that's half of the battle. The rest of it, knowing, believing, gut instinct, know this bit, and tying it all into the three. When you get that, you're on it. Don't just take our word for it. Don't just listen to anybody. Don't just rush into stuff. And next year, wow, we're all going to be in the private. Peace and love. Ciao for now.